Xarel, welcome and congratulations on winning your first career treble at Woodbine yesterday. So
Thank you
tell us,
so much.
how are you feeling about after having such a big day?
Uh, First of all, I'd like to say thanks be to God for giving me this opportunity at Woodbine and doing what is what I say a very hard and challenging move. And what I did as a bug boy at Woodbine, first time here in Canada as well. Making that big move to go straight to Woodbine is not an easy task. So I'm very thankful for what I'm doing right now at this moment. Big thanks to everyone who has been helping me and putting me where I am right now today.
Okay. Um, let's go walk back to the yesterday morning. Um, when you got up and you were preparing for races, you anticipated that you would have had such a outcome.
Well, when I was going through the farm for my races, I have picked out a couple winners on the day. There was a horse I won on, and I was expecting him to give me back the same run, wishing me he's bet on the turf. The owners had told me, and the outcome was as expected.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna jump in and show the fans exactly what happened in the first one, and you don't want to keep them waiting too long. So let's jump right in.
To run, and they're off. Powerco won the start from the outside, going through to the lead narrowly is Michaela. Near the inside, Stormy Ocean pushing to take over, and deeper on the track, Spirited Tipperary just behind Powerco. And a length and a half away last is In It to Win It, making ground as they come down the stretch the first time. And Stormy Ocean out in front, away from the inside. The widest is Powerco, shading Michaela. In It to Win It, the rail, and last, Spirited Tipperary's now 3 behind this leader. Showing the way into the backstretch is Stormy Ocean by a length to Powerco. A similar margin, Michaela, and then In It to Win It as they settle into almost single file. And last of all is Spirited Tipperary. The running order hasn't changed as they are approaching the 5/8. Racing with the lead, Stormy Ocean off the inside, Powerco 3 parts away second, and a length and a half to Michaela. In It to Win It on the inside, and now off the rail is Spirited Tipperary, and they go along with a fairly modest tempo. The leader by a couple of lengths trying to open up the lead. Stormy Ocean getting further ahead now as they start the run inside the half mile. Powerco about 3 behind. A length and a half, Michaela In It to Win It, and 1.5 to Spirited Tipperary. They sprint off towards the 3/8. Stormy Ocean's lead only a length, and coming now, Powerco making a challenge. They're starting to really fire. Coming is Michaela on the outside. In It to Win It, running up the rails, and Spirited Tipperary still last of all as they go inside the quarter. Michaela running up on the outside to join Stormy Ocean. Powerco has it opening the rail. Spirited Tipperary down the outside behind them, and on the inside In It to Win It. But Stormy Ocean's lead a length and a half to Michaela. Powerco now Spirited Tipperary giving a last minute lunge down the outside, running on but getting away from them, Stormy Ocean. And Stormy Ocean rides the waves down to victory here. Stormy Ocean going on to win and scores by 3 lengths. Michaela narrowly second from Spirited Tipperary. Behind them, Powerco and In It to Win It, and the time for the race, 1:46.63.
Okay. So that was the banger that started the day off yesterday at Woodbine. Um, and pretty confident ride. Um, one question I want to ask you: what was the journey like transitioning to the Canadian circuit?
Well, transitioning from the Canadian circuit, it wasn't too bad, but with the weather, that's the only thing that gave me a fight. The weather was a bit cold and it was hot. It was a bit cold for a long time. And that's the only thing that I was having a problem with, but I put out a fight and now I think I'm pretty okay with the weather now.
Okay, so what's the biggest difference you would have noticed between racing at Garrison and at Woodbine?
Woodbine is a big circuit, the straights are pretty long and turns are pretty wide. So back home, it's like a bow ring. They would say it's pretty
Mhm.
small tight turns. So transitioning to this big track now, I'm pretty comfortable because we ride on a pretty small track back home. It is. a big advantage coming from a small, tiny track like that, and known to
Mhm,
ride on a track like this.
mhm.
Yeah.
So, given your experience now, what is it like racing on the turf and racing on the synthetic?
But racing on the turf is totally different to the synthetic. I would say it feels a lot different, a lot smoother. You know, some horses tend to like the turf a lot better than the synthetic to me, and it's just a smoother ride on the turf. I would say.
You think that okay? You have you ever, but have you have ridden any horses on both surfaces? The same horse on both surfaces, one that would have switched from the turf to the pure
Yeah,
the.
actually, Secret Stormer had one on him on the synthetic, and then
Mhm,
he won again yesterday on the turf, and
mhm.
it was pretty good on the turf
Okay, so
compared to the synthetic.
in terms of the speed, what is the speed factor like between the two surfaces?
Well, it all depends on how the track is playing, you know.
Mhm,
So, like some days the synthetic tends to change and plays a lot of speed, and it all depends on the wind direction and stuff. Sometimes the wind is high going down the backside, sometimes it's high coming down the lane. It all depends on the wind direction. There's a lot of factors, you know, you gotta keep in mind.
mhm.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay, so you have racked up a total of 9 winners so far for the season from
that's it.
28 rides, and that puts your win rate at about 32%, which is a very strong start for an apprentice, you know. Um, what would you credit most for your early success?
Well, I would like to say thanks be to God. That's all I can thank. And
Okay.
everyone, my agent, Robert Pierce, everyone who has been helping me, you know. These guys put their all into me.
Hmm.
I can't
Hmm.
ask them for nothing better. All my trainers and owners, I'm thankful. Thanks to everyone. That's the reason that I'm here today, Vinny.
Okay. And yesterday, after you won the first race, what was going through your mind, especially when you realized you were heading for that second win?
After I won my first race, I was just kind of relaxed, you know. Back to back rides, getting accustomed to riding so many horses now. Just trying to catch myself before I go out. And I was looking for the double, and the guys were telling me about early double, a daily double, and I was like, I'm searching. Yeah.
Take a look now at that second race
Okay.
and let our viewers see exactly how you executed that one.
Locked up. Off they race. That was a perfect start. And just in front from the outside, Victoria Elizabeth shows the way from up the rails going to second, Cinnamon Bits, and right between them, Grace on the Green, and just behind is Ondine Lady. They're the top four, taken up a bit. Ondine Lady looks lucky to me is over on the outside, and back on the rail is Sarah's Dancer, and 3 lengths away last, That Girl Artemis. Showing up in front on the inside, taking over narrowly is Cinnamon Bits from Victoria Elizabeth. A length and a half on Dean Lady. Grace on the Green is next from Looks Lucky to Me. 2 lengths away Sarah's Dancer, and 2.5 to That Girl Artemis is last. As they come inside the half mile, and still out in front is Cinnamon Bits and Victoria Elizabeth. A length away on Dean Lady, up 3 wide. Grace on the Green is saving every inch of ground at the 3/8. Then Looks Lucky to Me, Sarah's Dancer, and still a long way behind is That Girl Artemis. Inside the 5/16 they head, and over on the inside Cinnamon Bits, and up on the outer Victoria Elizabeth. Plunging through is Grace on the Green, and down the outside is Ondine Lady, and then Looks Lucky to Me, That Girl Artemis running from last. Victoria Elizabeth narrowly in front, taken on by Ondine Lady with Cinnamon Bits kicking. Grace on the Green, and from the back Sarah's Dancer. Anyone's race, including Looks Lucky to Me. Ondine Lady, Cinnamon Bits, and up the inside That Girl Artemis is flying through on the inside. That Girl Artemis from Ondine Lady, Sarah's Dancer, Cinnamon Bits, and then came Grace on the Green, Looks Lucky to Me, and Victoria Elizabeth as that race really fell apart. 1:17:69.
Very exciting finish there indeed. So prior to yesterday's race, you would have had 6 winners. And how have the racing community there embraced you? Um, Especially trainers and the owners. How have they responded to you and to your right now at this time?
Well, the guys are liking my writing, I'm doing pretty well as a bug boy. They're they're saying that I'm not a bug boy, but it is
So
what
what
it
would make
is.
so what would make them say that you're not a bug boy?
The way that I'm writing and executing my writing skill.
Yeah. From watching you ride, I can definitely see there has been an improvement in your riding, your tactics, your judgment, and
Yeah,
most of all, I can see that you ride with the utmost confidence. You know,
yeah, for sure.
and you know, and how do you feel? What are your confidence levels like now, as opposed to when you were riding in Barbados?
Whilst I'm writing, I'm always confident, with regards if I'm on a long shot or a favorite. I try to be as confident as possible. That's the way I like to write, just to be confident and go from there.
Okay, so since the folks that they think now that you are not a bug boy, um, do you feel more pressured now to win now that you have started to have a great start to your first season?
Not
Was
really. I'm just keeping it the same way, being humble and doing what I have to do, and that's it.
okay. So what are your goals for the rest of the season?
Well, my goals are to try my best at achieving the sovereign awards. That's my goals for this year.
And how many apprentices are there currently rating at Woodbine?
Well, there's a lot of apprentices. Apprentices are coming and coming week by week. Actually, I can't remember right now, but there's a
Mm.
few. There's a
So
few.
where do you fit in the standings as
I
opposed
I
to
think I'm second at the moment. I think Pietro's in first still,
Mhm.
and then there's Austin Adams behind me. Yeah.
Okay. And who would you tip your hat to? Who will you thank? In I know you said earlier you have to thank your agent and Robert Pierce, who
Yeah.
have been very instrumental in getting you into the position that you are currently.
That's it.
You know, but who else would you say would have played a major role in your foundation? Um, who you looked up to apart from those guys, and who would you like to thank for the progress you have made at this point?
I mean, there's so many people I can thank. I don't want to leave out anybody and just single it. I just want to say thanks to
You see,
everybody. That's
we
it.
have all day, so you
I-
can.
yeah. I don't want to leave out anybody. Don't.
Mm,
No, that's not a good feeling for them to hear this. No,
uh-huh,
not at all. I just
uh-huh,
want to say thanks to everyone for putting me in the
mhm,
position that I'm in right now, and I'm
mhm.
thankful.
So for all the other guys looking on at Xarel and the things that Xarel is doing right now in Canada, what would you say to those guys?
I mean, just continue to work hard, and
Mm,
hard work pays off.
yeah, and your fellow next generators, we will say to them guys, because
Just keep fighting, guys. That's the way out. Keep fighting. Ride hard and watch over a lot of races and watch the bigger guys, and you'll learn a lot.
yeah, because I noticed that the entire, what should I say, the next gen team is doing pretty well. You know,
Yeah,
I even get calls asking me, what happened that my next generators have been um, ripping up all over the place. So
yeah,
it's a good feeling to know that you guys are doing something right. And especially in times like these where the youth are in, what should I say, under the microscope, along
yes,
with all
yes,
the stuff that's happening in the country and around the globe. You know, it is good to see that you guys are stepping up and really doing what you put your hearts to do, and is shining a good light on yourselves and on the country as a whole. You know, so
yeah,
we just want to be thankful that it is working out for you in Canada, because we know songwriters who travel overseas, kind of have it difficult sometimes, you know. But
yes,
you settle in, you're kind of stamping your authority as the bug boy, you know, and that's a good sign, and a positive direction to be heading in, you
yes,
know.
indeed.
Yeah. So, we said we want to keep it short and sweet. Next time what we'll do, we would have probably go into a more extensive interview, you know. But what we're going to do now is we're going to give our um, viewers the final victory,
Okay.
and we'll be back.
And they break very well, and back to the tail, past the Put 'em Please and Sugar It's Eli, but Frack Right won the start with Secret Storm and Guard of Honor second and third. On the outside goes past the Put 'em Please, and on the rail Snookered. They came away by a length and a half, Sugar It's Eli, Catholic Jackie, and last Midnight Tempesta. Out in front, Frack Right stacks them up early and leads the way at the 5/8 by 3 parts to Guard of Honor. In third, Secret Storm, a length away past the Put 'em Please. Sugar It's Eli has gone up on the outside of Snookered, who has dropped back on the rail to second last behind Catholic Jackie, and last is Midnight Tempesta. Racing down towards the 3.5, and still Frack Right and Guard of Honor the top two as Guard of Honor looms on the outside. 2.5 to Secret Storm in third. Past the Put 'em Please is fourth, and a break in the field to the others, headed by Sugar It's Eli, Catholic Jackie, and turning at the back Midnight Tempesta and Snookered heading for home, and Frack Right still the one to catch. Secret Storm angling off the inside, and coming up the rails is Sugar It's Eli. Down the outside past the Put 'em Please. Frack Right in front, and running about is Secret Storm under pressure in second. Frack Right leads by 2 lengths to Secret Storm, who's still pushing the neck down and is coming with giant strides. Secret Storm a threat. Frack Right on the inside. Secret Storm coming, and as they go right down to the wire, has got up. Secret Storm the winner. Another one, Xarel Forde, third on the day from Frack Right. Behind them, Sugar It's Eli, Catholic Jackie, Midnight Tempesta out wider, and the time is 1:17.09.
You gotta check the horse to make sure he ain't got no burnouts in the back of the neck, man. He really wait to work on that guy, man. Yeah. So at what point you knew you had that particular race won? Because it seems to take the horse took a while to get into high gear. So
He didn't really take a while. He just kind of green, like coming down the straight. He tends to lug in and run away from the stick. But when he gets going, I think he picks up pretty well. At the quarter pole, I saw a swan squeeze, and I was behind him in tight quarters. I just settled. Then when I got my move to go, I took my move and I caught him at the end of the wire, just in time.
okay. All right, Xarel, we want to, on the behalf of Racing Sin Live and the Next Gen Riders, we just want to thank you for being here. And we just want you to continue to do the good work. And we will be continually watching on and cheering on from these parts as you progress in your career. So once again, we know time is short. You're a pretty busy fella now, So thanks for being here, and enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Thanks for the interview.
Okay, thank you.
All right.